In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to win more games in Clutch Time Online to get this free Galaxy Super Franz Wagner in NBA 2K23 Myteam. He looks to be a really nice free small forward in the game that I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to be grinding for, whether you're a Franz Wagner fan, you're a Magic fan, or just want to use his Galaxy Super card in the game that I think actually looks pretty good at the small forward position. I'll be showing you guys how to win Clutch Time games, and it's not just for this season, and it's not just for this card in specific. If you guys just want to know how to win more games in Clutch Time to get all the other prizes like the Gary Payton, maybe you want to get Wiseman, for example, tokens, MT, Hall of Fame badge pack, just gonna be showing you guys how to win more games in Clutch Time Online, because it is a nice thing to know how to do to get these games done really fast and easily as well. So first thing I do want to talk about is going to be the lineup screen. Now this really depends on what type of team you do have, but there's some certain things and players you want to focus on having. So for me, this would be my 5-man I would run in Clutch Time, and what you want to do is have 2 cards that can be your main source of offense. So for me, it's going to be Ricky Davis and AK-47. It's a little bit different in a limited. I feel like you can only have 1 card. Like you don't need to have 2 ball handlers, but I feel like in Clutch Time Online, it's kind of nice to have those 2 main ball handlers that can score at a very high level. So for me, it's going to be Ricky Davis and AK-47. But if you guys want to go for a little bit more budget, you don't have to use a card like Cade. You can go pick yourself up a Rudy Fernandez, a Luke Walton. Those are really good budget point guards in the game. I mean, I'd get Ricky Davis. He's one of the best offensive cards in my team, and is going to be especially good for Clutch Time Online, so make sure you guys get a Ricky Davis type of card. I mean, if you can afford it, AK, he's like the perfect card in the game for Clutch Time, because he's going to give you that size, that defense at the 3, while still being one of the better offensive cards in the game. But if you want to go for a card like Rudy Fernandez, then you don't need a card like AK. You can just go for like a lockdown, or if you guys have like a Danny Ferry, then you can obviously go for Cade Cunningham or just a Luke Walton, and then have Danny Ferry and Ricky Davis be your 2 offensive cards. So it really depends on what lineup you have, but make sure you have one guy that's going to be a very good defender that you can have as a lock, and then you also want to have 2 ball handlers. So for me, AK can be my lock and a ball handler, and then Ricky Davis is going to be my main source of scoring and just my main player I go through on the offensive end. And then still, like, yes, Cade Taco can score the ball, Dino can score the ball as well. And then I would say you want to make sure you have one of these tall giants, whether it's a Taco Fall, whether it's a Yao, whether it's a Hakeem, whether it's a Wilt Chamberlain. You want to have that one big man, because there's a lot of times you run in Clutch Time and you're most likely going to see a Yao, you're most likely going to see a Taco, you're going to see a D-Rob, you're going to see a Kristaps, a Dikembe, a Kareem. So you want to make sure you have at least one really tall player, whether it's a Taco, and yes, that's going to spend a lot of MT. If you guys don't have it, you might be a little bit undersized, and you can still win games, with an undersized lineup. But I would say try to have that one really tall giant, even if it's Mark Eden and you like playing with inside bigs. He can be very effective in Clutch Time Online. So Mark Eden's another really good budget option, and then I just run Dino at my center position, but in game he'll be guarding the power forward. So yeah, little stuff here with the lineup, but just make sure you have those 2 ball handlers, and then you have that 1 lockdown card, because I'll explain more about the ball handlers here in a second of why you want to make sure you have 2 guys that can really score the ball. But yeah, let's hop into a Clutch Time game now and show you guys how to get wins fast and easy in season 6. So now into the Clutch Time Online game, what I like to do if I'm really trying to get wins fast and easy is you go to the offensive settings and you go down to your freelance. This is going to really be a game changer in Clutch Time Online. It's going to be putting your freelance on Bucks 2018 to give you that spacing that you'll need in a game like Clutch Time. Because the court's so small and there's not a lot of space, you need to make sure you have that good spacing, and then you also want to have good defensive settings. If you guys are going to want to go watch my separate defensive settings video, I'll try to remember to leave that in the link in the description. If I don't, just search up Evan Tanaka defensive settings, or even if you guys want to go watch Ties or Splash's defensive settings, those are obviously really good as well. But make sure that you guys have your good defensive settings on, and you can do this before the game, so in Clutch Time you don't have to go through and do all the defensive settings. You can just set them in the main menu screen under the lineup management. But yeah, make sure you guys have the offensive settings turned on to Bucks 2018 for freelance, and then you guys do have all your good defensive settings. So into the game here, we're going to get a terrible matchup. So I might just hop into another game, because this isn't going to be the best example. So let me just hop into another Clutch Time game, and then I'll show you. And then it's going to be the same thing with the freestyle. It's going to be the same thing with the freelance and the defensive settings, but I'll just go right into the gameplay. Okay, guys, so into the Clutch Time Online game, I did set up my freelance. So I have the Bucks 2018 freelance on, and I'll show you guys how to set that up in game. And then I obviously do have my defensive settings, set to how I want them. My opponent does have a way better team. I mean, he's not got like the best team in the game, but he does have a way more competitive lineup. So first thing you guys want to do is click right on the D-pad, which is the 4 arrows, and that is going to bring up the freelance. Click RB and then click Bucks 2018. So that's how you guys can set up the freelance, and now you're going to have a lot better spacing in game, and that's just going to really help you out on the offensive end. Because if you guys play clutch time normally, you'll notice that there's like barely any spacing on the court, and it's really hard to create space and get wide open shots. So that's the first thing you guys want to do. And then now kind of more talking about what you guys should be doing in game. So on the offensive end, what I personally like to do is run a lot of pick and rolls and look to drive and get to the basket. Just take my 2 every single time. I don't try to 300 in clutch time. I feel like that's what a lot of people try to do, is they just look for 3s every single play. I trust my defense in clutch time and how easy it is to get stops, and I'm just trying to get to the paint. I actually tried to pump fake there and it made me went up with that. But yeah, what I try to do is just get to the paint and try to, just get as many dunks as possible, and then trust my defense on the other side of the ball. Because if you guys remember, or if you guys know, there's only 14 seconds on the shot clock, so it's a lot easier to get stops in clutch time compared to a game mode like unlimited or limited or any pretty much any other game mode. So you can see right now the spacing is a little bit messed up, so we're just going to kind of walk that back and shoot with Ricky Davis, and that's why you want to have a card like a Ricky Davis, a guy that can shoot from that limitless range. But yeah, on defense, I mean, I just like to switch on and on off ball. I mean, it's just going to be playing straight up defense. There's no real, method. I mean, you can full court press, you can send double teams, but just play defense like you guys normally would. I mean, he's going to try to drop step us there, and we're going to play good defense. And now you want to run in transition. That's another thing too, is you want to try to run in the break as much as possible. You don't want to be having to score in the half court setting, because the score in the half court setting is a lot harder to get buckets when there's only a 14-second shot clock and how small the court is. So you can see right there, we get a great defensive stop because my pony's not got enough time on the clock. So I'm trying to run in transition and I'm trying to get to the rim. We see Taco down low. I actually clicked on Taco's icon. Not sure why I went to Dino, but yeah, back with the Dino, got a wide open shot here, and we're able to knock it down. So you can see right now I'm playing at a really high pace. And if you guys also trust your defense and you know how to full court press, I think full court pressing can be very effective in clutch time as well. Just putting pressure on your opponent, making him having to make a read with 3 seconds on the clock. You can see right here, there's only 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Now he's got to force up a bad shot, and we get a great defensive possession. It's all about forcing your opponent into taking rush and bad looks, and then you on the offensive end, just take your easy 2s. You don't need to force anything. I'm not going to force that 3. I can send him on a little back cut, try to find Dino down low, and I'm just going to be very smart on the offensive end, not trying to force 3s, not trying to 3 hunt, play at a fast pace when you're running in transition, but then be patient in the half court, right? On defense, like I said, just play your normal type of defense. Don't have to do really anything too different, but mainly just focus on getting your opponent to take these rush kind of bad looks. Like that probably wasn't his favorite look. He didn't like having to take that shot, as he's going to go into a half court trap here, which also can be very effective as well, because a lot of people like to play fast pace in clutch time. You can see right there, he's going to get a quick steal and then a quick 3. So that's what you don't want to let up. You don't want to turn the ball over and give your opponent a wide open 3. So yeah, he's going to go into a zone here, which is going to make things a little bit more tricky, but I'm going to try to dot the corner here, find Dino in the left side corner, and just move the ball. And that's why this spacing is so important if your opponent does go into a zone. If you have that 5-out type of spacing, you're in that Bucks 2018 freelance, it's going to really help you out on the offensive end if your opponent does go into a zone. But yeah, mainly on offense, I like to call a lot of pick and rolls, look to get downhill, take my 2s, because I trust my defense in game. If maybe you don't think you're the greatest defender and you're having trouble getting stops, then you're going to have to look to 3 hunt more with your cards like Ricky Davis, and just look to 3 hunt more in general. But if you trust your defense, I would personally just take your 2 every single time down the floor, and then just look to play defense. And if you get a lead and you feel confident you can score every single play, which sometimes I do feel confident I can literally score every single play, but you're going to look to find Dino in that right side corner, just being patient with the ball in our hands, going to find AK. I got the corner glitch, so it didn't let me shoot. I'm going to pass to the corner to Taco, and then we do get a wide open 3. So yeah, I was going to shoot that with AK in the corner, but I got that small forward glitch where it doesn't let you shoot. But yeah, we're just going to look to pressure him here on ball, just force him into a bad look and have to rush his offense. Right now, he's only got 6 seconds on the clock. We're looking to play good defense. He's going to try to drop step us. I'm going to leave KG wide open. Wasn't the best defense there. Trying to help down. It is a little bit hard to explain everything as I'm playing. I'm just going to throw a terrible pass there. So you guys might be saying, oh, well, like, I'm playing bad, whatever. I'm only up by 7. But trust me, if you guys try to talk and explain something while you're doing it, it's a lot harder to do. So I just want to say it's a little bit tricky to, have to commentate over this while playing the game, but trying to give you guys, my best opinions and advice. But yeah, what you guys want to do, make sure you're getting to the rim and make sure you're taking your easy 2s, right? Just going to take my 2, trust my defense, especially if you guys take an early lead and you're up by 8, 9 points, you're up by 5, 6 points. Just take your 2. Don't try to force the 3 and don't try to 3 hunt too much unless you just want to play for fun, right? If you just want to chuck 3s and that's your play style, I'm not saying you guys can't 3 hunt and just, want to, shoot 3s with cards, because that's a lot more fun to do. I'm I'm just showing you guys like this is the best way to get wins, is just being smart and taking your twos, because a lot of people, they try to just chuck up threes and rush their offense. As you can see right there, my opponent's going to throw a bad pass. And then also another trick in game to safe dunk, because I don't think a lot of people know how to safe dunk, is what I did right there, is you want to go up on your right stick. So instead of, holding down X to dunk the ball, you want to hold up on your right stick, and that's going to get you a safe dunk animation, which means you're probably not going to get blocked as many times, because if you have a Cade Cunningham, he's going to pull out the front clutches, and that's going to be really nice for not getting blocked. Like a card like Dino, he has the front clutches as well, as my opponent's just going to leave us wide open. Not really sure what he's doing on defense, as we do take a 12-point lead. But yeah, make sure you guys are safe dunking, even in unlimited. It doesn't have to be just in clutch time, but that's also another tip, is make sure you guys know how to safe dunk, which is just holding up on the right stick when you go for a dunk instead of holding down X. But yeah, we're looking to play good defense here. I mean, a lot of times in clutch time, defense doesn't really matter too much. It's really about how much you can score the ball in the offensive end. If you kind of get into a game where both you guys aren't the best defenders, it really just comes down to defense, or really comes down to offense and how well you guys can score the ball. So we're going to win this game by 12 points. Maybe not the best competition or the best opponent with the best team, but those are going to be all my best tips and tricks just to help you guys win clutch time online games. It might be a little bit confusing, me going at high speed while having to explain everything while playing a game. So if you guys have any questions of something that maybe you're a little bit confused about, let me know and I'll get a way better chance of answering that question in the comment section down below. But just to give you guys a review of what you want to do on offense. So offense for me, what I like to do personally, and this is just for me to try to get wins fast and easy, is set up that Bucks 2018 freelance, go into a basically not a 5-0, but just make sure you're spaced out on the floor really well. And since it's only 14 seconds on the clock, you want to get into your offense really early. Don't be just holding the ball at the top of the key, just try to run as fast as possible in transition and get your offensive setup as fast as possible. And then, call a lot of pick and rolls, look to get downhill, attack the basket, and then if your opponent drops and he leaves the corners wide open, then you can kick to the corners. But what I like to do is just take my twos and really put that trust in my defense, where I'm full court pressing, sending double teams, just trying to make it hell for my opponent to score the ball and have to make him throw some rush passes, whether it's out of a double team, whether he's having to make a decision with 5 seconds on the clock, whether to shoot a 3, make a pass, double teaming, like, helping off people, baiting a pass. All the type of stuff is what you guys want to do on the defensive end. You want to make your opponent think as much as possible, because a lot of people just playing clutch time while they're like lying down. If you guys are really trying to sweat and get these wins done fast, that's what you want to do, is force your opponent into having to make some rush decisions. Basically how you can do that is presses, half court traps, double teams, just playing really baity defense and just force your opponent into having to make a bad read, and then just run in transition, take your twos. That's pretty much all the advice I can give you guys in clutch time. Once again, if you guys have any other suggestions or any other comments or just questions in the comments, let me know all the type of stuff. But yeah, hit your wide open threes, take your twos, play very good defense, like, force them into bad passes, and you guys should be good to go in clutch time. And make sure you guys have those 2 ball handlers, so it's going to really help you out on the offensive end if you do get boxed with another player. But hopefully this video to help you guys out. If it did, make sure you drop a like and sub down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.